Om 3 times. So let's close your eyes, and then we have a Gayatri mantra. So 3 times we will chant Om.
Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Thank you so much for coming and giving your time and so why should not we have a duty? We have one goal. So that one was there 2 years ago. So today we have Anilji with us. He is enlightened and lineage guru of Sri Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, and his photo is here. And Rishi Master here, so you know. He is from Sydney, and he was an electric engineer by profession, and last maybe 30 years he is in Australia. One beautiful thing about Anilji is me and Kavita is highly influenced by Anilji's teaching. His way of teaching is very simple and directly into the heart of the student. So we have that experience for last 2 years, and his teaching is.
Want to sit here? It's all right, don't worry.
It's mainly about if we think that means worldly life, then Rishi Master's Viyansu Luno's teaching will come. And if we think and if we want that think about beyond the world, then sage teaching is given to all of us. So it will have a wonderful discussion today. And I bet that if you give these 2 hours fully, then nothing is required. It is suspense for us also. He has written 3 books. One of book is Life Beyond Death. So everything is written beyond the world. Dunya ke pare kya hai? After what is death? After death, and life and death, and about planes, different planes beyond the physical world. So those who are having satsang with Anilji, they must be knowing that what is that book is about. And best thing about Anilji is he is giving one-to-one uh, sessions. Means it is not mass that I or Bole ke chalo 500 jan hai, so he is giving lecture to 500 people or 1000 people. No, he is giving one-to-one satsang, taking his time, very precious time he is giving, and not only giving, he is hammering the things. So it goes into our blood. So that is the beautiful thing about Anilji, and we will not find even Sadguru is there. Sadguru will speak publicly, but one to one, if anybody is giving that now, and we have a unique problem. So he addressed the unique problem one to one. So that is the beautiful thing about Anilji. So I request, please welcome Anilji. And I request Kavita to please welcome Anilji, our Indian style, to welcome our Guru. जी अनिल जी आप आइए यहाँ.
Okay. Well, better. Oh, you want to put it on me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we'll have to take it off.
Okay, I'll do it.
There we go. All right.
So.
Sit down. Okay, look, I welcome all of you to our meeting. But what you've got to keep in mind is that it's not Anilji addressing the participants. Because, there are 60 billion human souls. That's the right number. And that is our family. It doesn't matter how behind a person is left in their evolution. There is no escape for anybody from this family until everyone reaches that same state. That is why people like Ramana Maharishi came down from the highest of the realms to guide humanity. Rishi Master Byansa Duno came, spent his life, talking about every aspect of humanity. And we are currently in a progress of change. This current culture is coming to an end, and we are moving on to, the golden age or the sixth root race. We are already in transition. So whatever time is there, we have to utilize to continue to grow spiritually. Because Master Byansa Duno had said that you are not here for your riches, for the clothes, for the houses, but you are actually here to experience what your true nature is. That is the purpose of human birth. So this satsang that we are actually having today, Mukti and living in self-abidance, is twofold. The first is to realize who you are, and the second is how to live in the reality that you always are. Interesting. I'll just hold 1 minute silence. The beings are already here in the room, but I don't start until I actually see the hierarchy present. So just give me half a minute. So there's a bhajan that actually I'm going to play for all of you, which I used to play when I used to give these self-styled lectures. वो कुछ आ गया उसमें, okay. So I presume Sylvia already knows the meaning of the song, isn't it? The one we did in Singapore. So everyone knows Hindi here, so I won't repeat that. When you actually listen to this song, basically what it says actually is that, you see, only there's a line, I picked up when the Rishi was communicating this satsang, that Mukti is only attained by the individual who has finally come home to the reality. Isn't it? When God is fully realized in you, Yoga Vasisht or Shankaracharya or Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, there's a whole lineage. Only then actually you have actually arrived home and you have fulfilled the purpose of human birth actually, isn't it? And so when we say Mukti, then they say as well कि साधना उन्हीं की हुई है पूरी जो तेरे शरण में आ गए. You listen to all these beautiful songs, but what is this sharan and what are they actually talking about is the whole question, isn't it? So the second half of the satsang is very deep, it is very powerful, and it's good that we are actually making a video on this as well, because just even 2 hours is not enough. Because everyone is traveling at their own level, your own level of thinking, your own level of feeling. And when I guide students, I simply follow what the rishis used to do and what my 2 great teachers told me, because of which I attained that state of illumination, that you have to work into the thinking and the feeling, the emotions of the individual. That's where the real battle is. Otherwise, there are many who sweet talk, but the sweetness doesn't last for too long. So let's play this song and have a break. But I want you to focus not on what's actually being said, but what is the meaning coming out in that song. This is always what you must keep in mind. If you attend anyway, whatever we do when you study, you go to school. Sorry, I speak ex-tempo, I can't prepare anything. So whatever comes, I talk. So some may find it funny, but that's how it is. So you really put your mind into, when all of you have gone to year 6, year 7, year 8 or whatever it is, but don't you put your mind into whatever you do? So similarly, you put your mind into what is being communicated in the song or the bhajan. Okay. I'll sit there. So I've come back. So what they are talking about actually God, you see. In the second half, I will reveal to you what that is, and that should end your spiritual journey of searching for God. It's quite interesting actually that you don't only just have with me, but you have got another pretty illuminated guru. And of course the Rishi has said that, look, if any of you is looking for that one-to-one guidance, because it's not my style of giving lectures, I work with individuals right to their very core, until they are, no one can actually give you self-abidance or enlightenment. It is only that reality within, when it's going to shine, it will shine, and that is the end of your spiritual journey. But what we can do is that we can at least take you out of all this wilderness that you roam about in every life, and bring you to that point where we can say that, look here, a true guru is the one who leads you from outside within where the reality is. That is all that anyone can do. There is no difference between me and you. You are as much and are always as illuminated as any other member of this family of 60 billion, and that never leaves you, because that is your real nature. It is false to say that I am illuminated and you are not. So I came here, and it's quite interesting. Mr. Bhavin was, virtually shoved upside down to pull him out from his slumber, to come out and start doing his work. So he is going to come and speak a few words, and we'll continue with the satsang. So I'm also eager enough as you to listen to what is he going to say. Because it's for the first time I'm listening to him like that, on the same platform as myself. Otherwise I've been guiding him for quite a few years, but it has always been that same level. Welcome. So we'll give him a big hand. All right.
It is very humbling to occupy a chair which he was occupying. I initially thought I'll start with gratitude, to the whole lineage of masters. But I'm feeling overwhelmed in this moment, so. No. I might just speak something other than what I planned. So because it's too humbling to occupy this chair. I have been. English is okay ki Hindi, Gujarati, I'm just wondering. English is okay? Mix? Okay. So I have been receiving one-to-one sessions from Anil ji, my guru, since 2018. We have had numerous sessions, and being intellectually fertile also has this downside that you have too many questions. So I would trouble him with too many queries, which stopped at a point, but then they also restarted. So I even now trouble him. I should be honest enough to share that I'm not yet fully there as far as I feel. So I am a work in progress, just like all of you. So the topic for today is Jeevan Mukti. It definitely doesn't mean Jeevan se Mukti. It means मुक्तता में रहकर या मुक्ति में रहकर जीवन जीना. If I have to give you an analogy, it is almost like when you are asleep, particularly when you are in dreamless sleep, you are in mukti, right? It is a state of samadhi without being conscious. And the real samadhi is a state of samadhi while being conscious. That is the only difference between sushupti and jagruti. So Jeevan Mukti is essentially living in total freedom, which is mukti, with your eyes open, which is also called Sahaj Samadhi. So being in samadhi with your eyes closed is difficult enough, but being in samadhi with your eyes open is definitely far more difficult, But paradoxically, it is also very simple because that is our natural state and we are just not aware of it. All that we need to do is we need to tune into the fact that we are already that, But we do our best not to tune into it. So, Jeevan Mukti, which is the topic for today, is, and everything that is going to follow after I speak, is going to be like that golden key, for you to enter into this state. As a holistic teacher, I teach full spectrum, and so I help people not just with the science of enlightenment, but also their wealth, their relationships, and all the miscellaneous aspects of life. So whenever I ask, what do you want, as participants, if I ask you people, do you want moksha? Be honest enough, Yeah, okay. So, and if I ask, do you want wealth? Be honest enough, There are going to be greater number of hands, So, our typical understanding is that we don't know what's going to happen after moksha. The devil you don't know is a worse devil than the devil you know, So nobody really aspires for moksha as far as I have seen. Though deeply in their heart, we are all here to evolve to that level, which we already are. But at a conscious level, we are looking for so many other things, which is what we typically call Maya, to use a more complex word. So Jeevan Mukti, but the same thing, if I ask you that instead of moksha, if I ask you, do you want freedom from suffering? How does it sound? Exciting? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah? Do you want, each of you, freedom from suffering? Yeah? In the current world, there is a huge movement, there are lots of gurus of joy, and they all make you feel as if life is one huge walk in the park and life is all about joy. Okay? But Buddha was better, He acknowledged that life is suffering. I was conversing with my mom today कि it is a fact कि दुनिया दुखનો સાગર છે અને દુનિયા સુખનો પણ સાગર છે. પણ સુખનો સાગર છે એનો મતલબ એ નથી કે દુખનો સાગર નથી. So suffering is a fact of life. One, if there is a mouse and then there is a cat here, if the mouse is going to close its eyes and feel कि अरे मैं तो बच गया, तो क्या वो बचेगा? नहीं बचेगा, you know. So it's very simple to say, अरे no, life is beautiful, but it doesn't work that way. You simply by closing your eyes to the fact that there is suffering in life, you know, you may not necessarily escape suffering. In fact, you'll go far deeper into it because you're not even acknowledging it, which is a very first step, you know. So Jeevan Mukti is essentially freedom from suffering. And that is obviously the most important thing, you know. In Jainism, they say that you have 84 lakh yonis and then you come to the human birth, you know. It could be a symbolic number, but it takes a lot of time to get this body, and it is only through this portal of this body that you can go beyond suffering, which is what Jeevan Mukti is all about, you know. And what do you think is the cause of suffering, if I may ask you? Just randomly, just share now whatever comes to your mind. Expectations, desires, needs. What else? Responsibilities. Interesting.
Karma.
Karma is an interesting answer. Even I believed that for a long time, and I still partially agree with it. Okay. I'm supposed to be speaking for a certain time, so I'm going to be a little faster now. So, you know, more than karma, the biggest obstacle is our ignorance of our own divinity. Karma can be taken care of. The biggest obstacle is our ignorance of our divinity. We being stuck to the point in claiming that we are not God. You know, claiming that we are miserable little clods of human beings. Claiming that we are nothing but a bundle of agonies. That's all we want to do. कि હું ને મારા દુઃખનો પહાડ. No? હું પોતે ઈશ્વર છું. એ આપણે માનવું નથી. આપણે જાગૃત થવું નથી. So this ignorance of our own divinity is our biggest problem. Okay? And in Anilji's extraordinarily crisp style, I will just give you, because he always works through crisp analogies. I think he is the epitome of Gnana Yoga, you know. Just through intellectual understanding and then practicing that, he takes you all the way through. So in this moment, are you aware of me speaking? Are you, be honest enough, are you also aware of you listening? Are you?
Not as much as aware of.
Yeah, your focus is on me, you know. And even if you are aware of you listening, you perhaps believe that it is your ears that are listening, right? But even a dead person has ears. Can he listen? So what is listening? The consciousness that is behind those ears, right? Without which there is no point of contact between you and me. You know? This consciousness which allows your ears to listen to me is already a given. You already are that. You already are that. And even I already am that. And the way I tend to forget, you tend to forget. You know, some of us tend to remember it more often. To that extent, we become partly illuminated. You know, so the whole essence is this ignorance of this consciousness, which a bhakta will call God. There's no difference. A Jnana Yogi will call it consciousness, and a Bhakta Yogi or a Bhakta is going to call it God. So the moment you are aware of this divinity, this consciousness that operates through you, and you are in tune with it, you are enlightened. And you already are that consciousness. That's why you are actually already enlightened. You know. But then it's difficult to understand that. So let's assume for now that you have some way to go. You know. And now, how do you bridge this? You know. Einstein used to say that no problem can be created at the same level. No problem can be solved at the same level at which it was created. If I create a problem, then how can I solve it? Because I am the one who is busy creating it always. So that is where the guru comes in. A guru, technically the word means a dispeller of darkness. So the guru is the one who comes and helps you see your own consciousness and stay in tune with it. This is essentially the best way to go about. There are so many yogas. The highest of them is Guru Kripa Yoga. Because there is no effort, the guru does it, and obviously there is sadhana on your part, but then there is always that impetus. So guru is that dispeller of darkness, of ignorance of your natural divinity. And this guru appears to be in this human body like a normal person wearing a shirt and a pant, being an electrical engineer and doing one-to-one satsangs. But that is simply our misperception, because this person is essentially consciousness operating through this physicality. Unlike most of us, which is not in tune, who are not in tune with our physicality, with our consciousness rather. And the guru is actually the lineage holder starting from Adi Guru. So the blessings are through the guru, the blessings are coming, right from Adi Guru, right from Shiva or Christ or whatever you believe, So I will finally sum it up in a nutshell. Jeevan Mukti is about freedom from suffering. Suffering is a fact of life. The sooner we acknowledge it, the sooner we can start our journey. Suffering stems from not knowing who we are, which is pure consciousness, which is always by default free of suffering. We ourselves cannot solve that which we created, the suffering. So we require somebody else who has walked the path, been there, done that. And that person enters your life. It dispels your darkness, helps you come in touch with your natural divinity. And that is the entire spiritual process. With that, I'll just once again pass on to my master and to somebody who has this capacity to really, really, really illuminate you if you are ready for it and you are ripe for it. So it is my humble request and my deep desire that in the next whatever time we have together, just be as receptive as you can be. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
See, the thing is this, that, we talk about, he also spoke very beautifully, very heart-touching, But what happens after that? Nothing, you see. Life goes on. So your spiritual journey actually will not start until actually you know what your own reality is, at least at the physical level. And that is where our rishis and, those who attained that state of abidance used to actually start with. Because the struggle in the student is really inside him, isn't it? When he said that, who wants freedom from suffering, then everyone is raising their hands. Because everything that you do is to be happy, That's why you battle with misery. But it doesn't seem to end, isn't it? You finish with one thing and the second arises. So the real battle actually is going on inside you, which are your own thoughts and your own feelings. If you're very honest to yourself, everything is actually coming from within you, right? So finally we meet, You made it on time. So there is no one here actually who denies that thoughts don't come to me. Now if I ask, raise your hands that thoughts don't come to you, no hand will be raised. Right? I'm going opposite to what Bhavin spoke. If I say raise your hands that feelings don't come to you. Because it's the truth actually, isn't it? Thoughts come to you, feelings come to you. And don't you actually realize that the real misery lies there? Forget about gurus and teachings and scriptures, just be honest to yourself. That's all that you need. So the first question which actually arises here is that if you actually, thoughts are coming to me as well as I'm speaking, but they are not coming from him or from Rajesh ji. Or from anybody in the room. They're coming from within you, isn't it? And these feelings that we are actually talking about, on which the entire Gita has been written, they are also coming from within you, right? So if you actually do not know from where the thoughts are coming and from where the feelings are coming, then where are you going, to which guru you are actually going, and what are you really trying to seek? Tell me. If you actually haven't solved your own little mystery, then who is going to give you enlightenment, and what enlightenment anyway? Do you agree with me or not? Tell me, interrupt me. I'm not here to give you a lecture, I'm here to make you understand your own little state of mukti or abidance. Right? He studies the whole day with his own thoughts and his own feelings. He himself is going to become a CA. I'm not going to become a CA for him. Everyone has their own journey, right? So we really actually first of all have to understand. And we are not actually meeting here for the first time. If you really look at it, it looks like that we have met previously and we have had discussions, When actually you really look at it, Anil has not just walked from Australia, Everyone has had close to about 1350 to 1400 lives. Look, I'm an engineer. Unfortunately, I don't believe in anything until I've experimented with it and I have proven it. And that's what I do with my students. I don't teach any scriptures or anything else. I tell them, look, this is what it is. Now you apply it in your life wherever you are and make it your own part. If you don't, you're not going to progress. Unfortunately, I'm a very hard taskmaster that way as well. You follow? Because I work with the student inside what is going on. And the larger number of discussions are on what's going on with the student, not the satsangs that I give. If peace doesn't come to that individual, at least some freedom actually comes from the thoughts and the feelings. Forget about any spiritual progress that you will make. But the beauty is, I don't give up. But then the other thing also is that I get an okay from the spiritual hierarchy to guide. Otherwise, I don't. So anyway, the Rishi had said that if any of you want the one-to-one guidance, so you have got Bhaminji as well now here. My number is there. If it clicks in your heart, you want to go further, because this 2 hours is only going to give you a keyhole into the reality. It won't bring abidance to you unless you give yourself to it. It will, but it doesn't happen, I mean, 1350 lives, endless thoughts, endless feelings, endless partners. You can't squash it in 2 hours. The price actually has to be paid by everyone, and you pay it your own way. I might have guided maybe about 65 or 70, but about 40 of them are in that state of illumination, right? Which may not be a big statistics, but it is a statistic. And I have not illuminated them. The reality within you only illuminates. When it sees that the time is right, it doesn't even take a flick of a second for that change to happen, and then that never goes away. Then it will not. So we'll just, basically what I want to do in this first part of the session is that, you're going to die, all of you. I'm also going to die. But when you ask that, am I going to die? You also have the feeling that I will not die, I'll go somewhere, isn't it? Nobody says that I will die. When you put the question to yourself, no, I won't die, yes. The answer is the body dies. You move on, everyone says Sarga Loka, Naraka Loka and this and that. But where are they? What are they? What is your understanding of all that? That is knowledge. And you have to verify for yourself, I'll verify it for you, don't worry. I don't speak any theory. And what I tell you, you can go back and experiment your entire life. That is the only key, because from every life, look, you escape and you go somewhere. And then what do? You come back here, back into the circus, and then you go and then you come, and then you go and then you come. So where do you go? What do you do? How do you come back? The blueprint of that is sitting in your subconscious. That you have to consciously bring it out while you're physically alive, not when you leave the physical body. Is everyone with me or not so far? If you're not, you tell me. Because the whole purpose is to understand, You are with me anyway. I don't have to tell you, but those who are new, right? I'd stopped giving this. I've given lectures up to 1,400 people, and I've given lectures up to 3-4 hours. That were the days of my awakened Kundalini. But I never actually fell into those traps because I wanted to know the truth. And ultimately, eventually one day it did shine. When it shone, that was the end of my spiritual journey. And that everyone has to go through. You have to pay the price. That's what you're calling karma or whatever, Okay. So basically what it is that you see, everybody says कि मेरी आत्मा है. No one denies, isn't it? But आत्मा है किधर? वो मेरे अंदर है. One gentleman told me, Anil ji, you are the first person who is telling me that कि आत्मा मेरे बाहर है. I said, you wasted your life, that's why you don't know. So actually what happens is, there are higher planes than our own plane. Right? So they say that before there was this Adi plane where that light of consciousness was. That is the very key of our teachings. Then after that came that Anupadik plane. That is where actually this figure has been given. 60 billion droplets of that original light actually came down. Right? They are recording it so you can listen, doesn't matter. So then actually after the Anupadik plane, Anupadik means disguise, not disguise, We were all actually fully as we are even today. That's what I want to prove to you. In spite of these talks of karma and mukti and blah, blah, blah. Right? Then they created that next plane, and you've got to keep in mind that there are other devas and devis and beings who actually helped in that creation. But that knowledge basically I only take up when the students are enlightened. Right? So the first, this is where the knowledge comes in. The first plane that was created was the Atmic plane. Atma. What is this? In very simple terms, that is divine will. Because you only chose to came down and you were actually divine. So it is your own will which you call the will of the Atma, or what you call as divine will. So after this Atmic plane, the next plane that was created is known as the Bodhic plane. Look at Sanskrit words coming from the ancient rishis. So the Bodhic plane, basic buddhi means intuition. Something in which there is no thought, there is no feeling, there is no activity. And I'll give you proof of this as well. As I said, I experiment and I want proof, But actually what was communicated to me is very unique actually. You will never come across that, what I'm actually telling you today. Because I'm not talking theoretically. I'll give you proof of this before I move on to the next stage. Then after the bodic plane, that is your higher nature. You never left your true nature. You will never leave your true nature. You will always be in that true nature. The only problem is that lower nature of yours, you're caught up in that. But that is how we have planned it to be. नहीं तो फिर माया कैसे चलेगी? अगर thoughts नहीं हैं, feelings नहीं हैं, नौकरी नहीं है, शरीर का भी पूरा काम करना है. So I better push this back because sometimes I stand up, so don't mind. Because I communicate from a different world when I give these talks. So, okay, Atmic plane and Baudic plane. Divine will, whatever the material divine will is, that is your Atmic plane, right? Whatever that material is. We'll know in a minute what that material is as well. Darji ki tarah usko bunenge. And then intuition. What is intuition? Basically something that happens without thought or feeling. Very simple. That's not hard to understand, isn't it? कि thought ही नहीं है और feeling भी नहीं है, physical activity भी नहीं है और वो चीज़ हो रही है. And it's happening all the time. And we are all dreaming karma and this and that, Right? If you're not with me or you don't understand what I said, tell me. I'm more than happy to just say that, repeat what you have said, I'll repeat it. You're enjoying this satsang or not? Or is it boring? You have been pulled in today by Subhashari. But I said you will benefit. So now we come to the real play. The circus, I call it the dance of the clown. That is where the actual, your world starts. Then the next plane they created is the mental plane. You see, every thought is a living entity just like a human being on this plane. यहाँ पे तो बेशक वो आ रही है और जा रही है वो, but we are living fully, so they also live fully in that mental plane, right? So whatever thoughts are made of, there is a plane, and that is the mental plane. Simple, You don't need to read the Ramayana or the Gita to know this. This is the Ramayana and the Gita of yours. Right? I'm just talking about the planes. Then is the next plane is what they call as Kamana Loka. Kamana is desire. And we are all slaves of our desires. We don't do anything until we have that desire. You don't even come to this satsang to listen if you hadn't had that desire to come. That is how it rules. And basically what I am actually talking to is outside the circle of desire. So what a guru does is, वो टापना सिखाता है. Get out from your thoughts, get out from your feelings. And then you may experience what everyone talks about. That's not hard to understand, isn't it? It's your daily life. I'm not asking you to raise hands or put hands down. The hands will remain down only. Come. She's saying something. Okay. So after the astral plane is basically what we call as the etheric plane. Even if you look out into the sky, वो चिनमिन ऐसे कुछ grey matter नजर आता है ना. So that is basically prana. That is what they call as the etheric body or the etheric plane or the magnetic body, right? Which is less than 2 centimeters of where we are. And then the last, so we are all sitting here, what they call as the bhautik loka. The physical plane. You don't need any introduction to that. Here we are, having fun, right? So now actually what happens is that this human being which has been formed over, how old are you? You are 14.3 billion years old. To reach where you are today, it took 14.3 billion years to become. So we had a satsang, we went to a resort, and there we had a big satsang of 2.5, 3 hours, and I showed them how we became what we are. That's what I cover in our satsangs. But only if you attain illumination, otherwise I don't do it. What's the point of talking of images, you know? So, Atmic plane, Bodhic plane. Mental body, astral body, etheric body, physical body. कुछ पढ़ा क्या नहीं दिमाग में? I want to ask him actually, you know. Makes a little bit of sense or not? You're quite intelligent. I think that you can, analyze and put in your brain, isn't it? Okay, अभी भी आ रही हैं feelings, you know, he smiled. So that means he's happy. It came from the astral plane. Every emotion is also a living entity in its own plane, just like we are. Great work has gone into this creation. So we should really appreciate that. We should be, you know, I'm only thankful that I can think and I can feel. That's my happiness. It is actually, it's a big gift, you know, nature gave. पर उसको छोड़ के हम भागे रहते हैं कि कौन सी साड़ी खरीदूं मैं, कौन सा मेकअप लूं, कौन सी लिपस्टिक लूं, कौन सा पैंट डालूं, कौन सी कंट्री जाऊं घूमने. अरे भी पहले इधर अंदर तो झांक ले, फिर जो करना है वो करते रहना. वो ये चीज़ें रोक थोड़ी रही हैं. If you become enlightened, it doesn't mean, you know, I'm a grandparent of what, 7 kids. My wife actually died because of cancer. But it didn't matter to me, it didn't make any difference because I've crossed the barriers of life and death. That is where you have to reach. So now, connected with every plane, you have a body. Let's distribute that. So now for the first time, maybe in many lives, you are actually looking at who you really are. And you already know that what I'm giving you is not anything new. You know, the beauty is this, that when I talk about these things, they don't actually appear to be new because more than 1350 times you have gone around in the circus. But for you to function, you are made to forget. क्योंकि अगर अनिल जी सब कुछ बता देंगे तो फिर रहने का भी मज़ा थोड़ा कम तो हो जाएगा. But it's the opposite. See, when you are in abidance, then you really work with images. लोग सोचते हैं पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा. Ramana Maharshi attained enlightenment, Jesus Christ did, Vivekananda did. How many people did they work with? Endless. So actually the family multiplies. Right? My wife is not there, but look at the people. The family continues to expand. Right? So it is the opposite. So work. Work towards your real nature. Live in it. Because your real nature knows everything. Anilji may not know so much, but your real nature does. And it will actually make your life easy as well. If it brought you till here, it will take you also wherever you go, because without that you can't go anywhere anyway. भाग कहाँ रहे हो तुम, you know? कितना भागोगे? So basically, you see what happens is that when you stretch your arms, aura तो सुना है ना? Everyone has aura करते हैं लोग, you know? But actually, understand what is in the aura. That is where your real spiritual journey begins. That's what the rishis taught. That's why Rishi Master Bhyan Sadhguru made me write this book. There is a need for people to understand. So basically, when you stretch your arms, तो क्या होता है कि ये आपकी फिजिकल बॉडी है. यू सी इन दैट डायग्राम, वो वाइट जो है उसके अंदर बना हुआ है. आप देखिए उसको देखिए. आई वांट यू टू सी, आई वांट यू टू अंडरस्टैंड. यू फॉलो? आई एम नॉट हियर गिविंग यू एनी लेक्चर्स और वट एवर. वी आर शेयरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन. वी हैव ट्रेवल्ड फॉर मेनी लाइफ्स. लेट्स नाउ शेयर द इंफॉर्मेशन वंस अगेन एंड लेट्स डू इट फॉर द लास्ट टाइम इफ इट इज पॉसिबल. कितने चक्कर मारोगे, कितनी बार मिलोगे? राइट? The self-styled gurus don't give this knowledge, unfortunately. That's the sad tragedy of our times. So, that red one, जब मेरे को ये डायग्राम बनाया था तो they made me work very hard. They said that you have got to show the actual colors of these diagrams. महीने लग गए, you know, and the hierarchy was not satisfied. finally it came out. So I could share, I could make a video on it, and I could share that information. So that red is the physical body. Surrounding that less than 1 centimeters, you can see very clearly, is the etheric body or the pranic body or the magnetic field, जहाँ पे chakras होते हैं, वो सब होते हैं. Anyway, we can't go into those details. Now when you stretch your arms, तो यहाँ तक जो है, जहाँ पे आपकी कोनी है, you can look at the distances and all those, जहाँ तक आपकी कोनी है, you look at me, ये जहाँ तक आपकी ये कोनी है, यहाँ तक जो है, is your astral body. Now it's silly to ask कि नज़र क्यों नहीं आती, because the vibratory level is very high, पर feelings तो आ रही हैं ना, और वो आसमान से तो गिर नहीं रही, अपने अंदर से ही आ रही हैं. That's from where they come. और जो नरक लोग होता है ना, that is here in the astral body. और जो अच्छा लोग है, the good feelings, that's even further towards your mental body. That is why this is suffering. That is why he made one very beautiful statement, कि when you get rid of your suffering, you are actually free. That is what binds you down. And when you become an observer to everything, a witness to everything, that's the end of the game. But that requires sadhana. That's why I have these 5 steps. फिर मैं रगड़ना शुरू करता हूँ स्टूडेंट को. Come on now, you do it. Because you have to experience what I'm saying. You got to experience that peace, that reality. Until you will experience, how will you go forward in your spiritual journey? You're stuck, right? But then that's my job. I run an ashram in my brain to guide people towards what is enlightenment. And that's what I do, because that's what even Ramana Maharishi, he guided me for 10 years, from 2000 to 2014. So they said, what we have taught you, you teach to the world, and that's what I do. But anyway, now at my stage, there is no teaching as well. हो गई तो हो गई, नहीं तो फिर भी ठीक है, Inner state doesn't change, right? So that is your astral body from where the feelings are coming, right? एक बार मैंने ऋषि को बोला कि मैं कार में बैठा हूँ तो दरवाज़ा बंद किया. What happened to the astral body? मैंने कहा उसको चोट नहीं लगी. So he says कि उनकी जो vibratory level, it is beyond your metal doors. It doesn't affect that. It is true. The vibratory level is very high. Then after that, basically, is your mental body. This one. ये वो जो color है उसके अंदर, which is in green. One student said कि ये तो बड़ी छोटी है. Thought तो बड़ी आती है. मैंने कहा छोटी तो है ये, पर इसकी vibratory level बहुत high है. It's not the question of the smallness, but it's the degree and the intensity of the vibration. Okay, so far? यहाँ पे सर्कस चलती है. That's the cycle of reincarnation. I'll explain to you. इधर घूमते हो तुम. Yes.
Can you elaborate on this astral body? Because really not getting into astral body within the lens, and how does it really,
So basically that is how it is. अभी आप जहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं, हाथ करिए चौड़े, यहाँ तक आपकी एस्ट्रल बॉडी है. What actually your aura is like this. No, actually you find when people actually come near you, so either you squeeze or you feel happy. That is because they've come into your aura. Lift के अंदर जाते हैं तो होता है ना ऐसे, थोड़ा इधर हो जाते हैं कभी. Sometimes local trains in Bombay, classical examples of this. So that's where the astral body is. आया समझ के नहीं आया?
I find like the examples of lift or local trains are just finding space for yourself.
That's right, but your aura doesn't need that space, it goes beyond that.
People must just barge into you and then that's it.
That's right. Yeah, but what I'm saying here actually is that you see your aura and these planes have got a higher vibration. Physical body की तो कोई vibration है ही नहीं. Right? अभी मैं और थोड़ा बताऊंगा इसके बारे में. Yeah, but try to get a picture. Now you're questioning because that is what is sitting inside you and now comes out the monkey. अभी तक तो कभी देखा नहीं. And now when the truth comes out, then that inquisitiveness increases to know the truth. And that is where your spiritual journey really starts. नहीं तो there are a lot of self-styled gurus, there are a lot of lectures, there are a lot of scriptures. पढ़ते रहो. ये जो क्लाउन है ना नीचे बैठा हुआ बड़ा खुश है, वो कहता है पढ़ो और पढ़ो. And when you die, that's what they say, the king of death is waiting, कि आजा बेटे. And Krishna said that the one who looks towards me, he becomes dear to me. For him there is no rebirth. That's what's in the Gita. They don't even know who wrote Gita. Anyway, they don't know how actually it has been written. Anyway, we're not going there. So after that basically is your bodhic body. That is the biggest body actually. यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक जो है ये आपकी बौद्धिक बॉडी है. दे प्ले ए वेरी बिग रोल. और जो लास्ट है इधर ये है आपकी आत्मिक बॉडी. वेयर योर हैंड इज. जस्ट आई वांट यू टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट इज ऑल. वो माइंड तो जो है यू नो इट विल पुट एंडलेस क्वेश्चंस, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट, बट जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज हु यू आर. That is from where your thoughts come, that is from where your feelings come. This is the world, this is your battleground. The Kauravas and the Pandavas. They are the feelings. The greater the strength of the Pandavas, the less the Kauravas, which are the thoughts that disturb you, they will be weakened. All right so far? It's okay. पहला वाला जो है first half is a little bit interesting. You read the book Life Beyond Death, every question will be answered. Because I've written that book, I traveled to all these planes with the Rishi. I gathered that knowledge and then I wrote it. I don't write or do anything if you can't understand, you know. And here also I'm hanging on to the proof that there is a mental body, the thoughts come from there. They come from within you. You cannot deny it. You can't. It is the truth. Okay, then you have got this higher bodies, the body of intuition which is from here to here, and then there is that atmic body, the body of divine will. ठीक है? Now the thing is this, that like the physical body is connected to the physical plane, let's not worry about the etheric, the astral body is connected to the astral plane, and it's constantly picking up feelings and sending inside you. The mental body is connected to the mental plane. It's constantly picking up thoughts and sending into you. I even explain clinically in the satsangs how that happens. वो जो questions उठते हैं ना, that's basically what I'm there for. That curiosity which is there, to quench that curiosity is the purpose of a guru who runs a spiritual school. There's no other purpose of actually calling yourself a guru if you can't do that. Right?
So you will say that your thoughts and all those things which is from here to here is connected to the planes.
Mental plane.
Yeah, it's connected to the mental plane, which is...
It is. Yeah.
Which is not here, right? Which is somewhere else.
It's right here.
Okay.
That's the beauty. You don't see it. अगर भैया एस्ट्रल प्लेन भी नजर आना शुरू हो गया, मेंटल प्लेन भी आना शुरू हो गया, तो फिर क्या करोगे इधर? घूमते रहोगे वहां पे भी और इधर भी. That's how nature has created it. You got to put logic to that understanding, right? But feelings are coming and thoughts are coming. They don't simply jump from the sky. जब रोटी खाते हो तो अनाज भी आता है, सब्जी भी आती है, सब कुछ आता है. It comes from Mother Earth, ना? So if the thoughts are going to come, they're not coming from plants or animals or your neighbor or from Mother Earth. They come from the mental plane. This is very simple knowledge. If you arrive there, you arrive in its totality. This is not, the Upanishads or the Ramayana. This is the Ramayana of your own story. पानी चाहिए क्या? बासी आ रही है? No, tell me, because it's excruciating. That satsang is deep.
Is there something called mind thought? Because my mental or thought body is like intersecting with other people's thought body as of now, the same distance.
No. Your thought body is your own thought body. We will just come to that in a minute. See, this is the thing. The monkey runs. वो उधर नहीं बैठना चाहता. उसको और बताओ अभी वो. So if you hold the reins, the answers will come. Because when you are in illumination or whatever, the only thing that we have is patience, calmness, peace. Or those qualities come into you. All right, so what happens actually is कि ये जो mental body है ना, ये split हुई हुई actually. There is an upper mental body and a lower mental body. If you look at that diagram, that upper mental body splits the lower and the higher ends. It's splitting actually. See how I'm saying? वो उसको green को अगर split करो तो उधर बौद्धिक और आत्मिक हो गई और नीचे जो है फिजिकल, एस्ट्रल और मेंटल हो गई. I'm quick, but that's what it is, right? अभी आप मेरी तरफ देखो, ठीक है ना? I'm splitting the mental body into two, which is actually the truth. So basically आपकी ये जो upper mental body है, इसको causal body भी बोला गया. The rishis and the munis called it karan sharira. ये कैसे है? जैसे पान का पत्ता होता है ना, you know, like heart, the shape of a heart, and it's shining in nature. So they talk about the Akasha Chronicle, the Akashic records, where everything is there. There is an Akasha Chronicle. So similarly, your individual records, every single life, every single event, everything that actually you did is stored in your upper mental body. Right? What happens is that a single drop comes out from there. Then it enters the lower mental plane or the lower mental body. Sorry, not the lower mental body. वो तो बनी नहीं. This is the cycle of reincarnation. So you form your mental body for this life. You know, just like everyone has a single print of the thumb, a single print of the hand, a single print of the foot, and your body is also unique. Every single curve in your body is the reflection of your personal karma. The nose, the eyes, the eyebrows. So similarly, as you said, everyone actually has their unique pattern of thinking, but you only collect that bit, those thoughts that you will entertain in this lifetime. Then you come down further, the drop keeps coming down into the astral plane, and then whatever you have decided, you form your body of emotions. And everyone's emotions are different. No two human beings have the same emotions. Check it out. Whether it's your wife or your child or your friend or your father. Doesn't matter. Everyone has their unique way of experiencing their emotions based on their astral body. Husband and wife, they say, are the closest, but झगड़ा होता रहता है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है. I'm not pointing at you, but that is the truth. Because you were kicked pretty hard, isn't it? Yesterday. We went to a resort, you know, and that's sometimes the communications come from the rishi, because I can read into an individual. That's where I help them. So you form your astral body. In the meantime, what is actually happening in the womb of the mother? That baby is developing. Takes 9 months. Till today, it eludes the biologist and it eludes the science that the fluid which is there in the womb, how does it actually help in forming the different organs? But there's fluid inside there. How can the brain, the heart, the lungs, which are so advanced, can be formed inside there? Isn't it? It's a relevant question. I mean, Guru ji ko to sunne ja rahe ho, but did Guru ji give you the answer of that or not? So that's what I say, where are you heading? What are you actually doing? What are you trying to gain? So Rishi Master Bhyansa Dono had actually explained what happens is, that's how your birth and death is determined. कहते हैं ना कि there's a time when you're born and the time you will die, but no one explains why and how. So I answer the whys and the hows. So in this huge hierarchies of planes, there were these cells who sacrificed their own evolution to serve the human body. So एक जगह जो है, there are a set of heart cells. एक जगह जो है, there is a set of liver cells. These are actually devas, beings of light, which you carry in your body. They sacrificed their evolution to serve the human body. So in those 9 months, the heart cells come, the brain cells come, the liver cells come, the stomach cells come, the hormone cells come, and they connect together. That's only a fluid in the stomach of that mother, and the physical body is formed. It's a network. Now say you wanted to live for 90 years, when you're in that Karan Sharira, that's where you're determining. You are your own executor of your karma, of your birth and your death. Everything is inside you, within you. So if you wanted to live for 90 years, so there are many other higher beings involved in this. So you have got to have heart cells which will serve you for 90 years, right? But then the heart cells say, we will only serve you for 88 years. 88 saal tak hai, we want to come back. So there is a consensus reached that, okay, we'll go for 89 years. The stomach cells want to go for 92. So it's determined, okay, 90 nahi hai, 89 years and 2 months, give you. So it's decided, then you start the journey. Then accordingly those cells actually come. Then what happens after 9 months is that water breathing baby, all the women who give birth, everybody actually knows that is not rocket science, comes out and it becomes an air breathing baby. Isn't it? Yahi hota na? And the moment that actually comes out, what happens is that your mental body, your astral body, I haven't spoken about the higher bodies. Atmic body and Bodhic body never change. They have been the same in every life and will remain the same for billions of years to come. वो जुड़ जाते हैं physical body के साथ. Now the network is complete and off you go into the circus for whatever we said, 89 years and 2 months. And so you're all sitting here and the circus goes on. Right? Then what happens? The time comes, science doesn't even know, वो कहता है brain failure हो गया, कोई कहता है heart failure हो गया. And then they do a post-mortem and they really don't fight, they find dead cells which are actually housing. What happens is the moment those heart cells fulfill their task, the heart is built to last for the time that it is going to last. Isn't it? अभी भी देखो डक डक कर रहा है वो. But do you ever go inside and thank your heart? कि जलेबी खानी है और क्या कहते हैं what is that? लस्सी पीनी है. You are actually only lost in that. So I teach students meditation of how to actually thank your inner organs for the work that they do for you tirelessly. Your stomach might get upset, gas bunny. How many times? But did you ever go in and thank them for the work that they did? How can you receive the blessings from the devas when you don't even do as a simple thing as thank your real friends who are serving you without asking for anything? Right? So we have a satsang on that. I do only 14 satsangs. I do only one a month, over 22 months, and by the time I expect that, the story is over. And it has. So you lead your life according to your desires. Then the time comes, right at the moment of death, what happens is, everything is replayed. Backward sequence. Everything that you did in microseconds, the film is formed, and you leave the physical body and it's actually dead. And you enter your astral body, the second cycle begins. Now what happens actually in the astral plane is, look, you have acted according to your feelings, your desires. A very simple example is that you kicked somebody, he is the one who got hurt, you didn't. So there, it's very beautiful, the time is longer in the astral plane, you lead your life according to the feelings of everyone that you met with and you experienced that. It's the reversal. Anji, you want to say something? आपको it's okay. उनको तो मना किया कि बोलना नहीं है. He likes talking. So I told him yesterday, remain quiet. I said, oh, maybe he's coming now. All right. So there actually suddenly you see, you feel that pain. When you feel the pain, you said, oh, what I did was wrong. But it's too late. There's no physical plane. And you come back to receive that kick, to feel the pain, to fulfill that negative karma which you did. That's just one example. There are endless examples in this. And that is how karma works. Then astral body dies. Then it is the death of the astral body. That's the circus. I'm not telling you anything new. I'm invoking in you the blueprint of reincarnation, which you yourself have been doing in every life. That is why, when I'm talking, it doesn't really seem to be as if you're not familiar with what I'm saying. Somewhere inside, it strikes a chord. And when you explore, actually, you see that, yes, this is actually true. Then you enter the lower mental plane. Now imagine you are a cocoon. It's just a cocoon of thoughts. That's your lower mental body. Imagine how powerful it will be, because there is no feelings, there is no physical activity there. How quickly you form mental concepts, isn't it? How quickly the concepts are formed. Look at it. Imagine when you are there, what will happen. One example that I've given is, if you wanted to be, say, a chartered accountant here. Let's take, because I see a chartered accountant sitting, we can take that example. Say she is my daughter and I wanted her to be a chartered accountant in Sydney and practice in Sydney, not here in Bombay. So what I will do is that I'll create that entire city of Sydney. It's a mental picture. I'll create a picture of my wife, it's a cocoon, of my family. I'll create a picture of her, the house we are going to live in. She will go to Sydney, she'll go to Sydney University. Wherever I want, she will give her exams and become a chartered accountant, and then she'll practice there. Because there are a lot of thoughts which come in us and feelings. How many thoughts and feelings do you fulfill in a day? Between the husband and wife, so much actually keeps on going until the wife finally realizes I better do something different, isn't it? Which you are going to do. Right? But then all these things actually come out there. Every bit is actually played out. And then you return, then the mental body dies after that, and then that is Swargaloka. The lower mental plane is Swargaloka. Astral plane, the lower sublevels of the astral plane is Narkaloka. You have to really understand, these things are there actually. When you stretch your arms, Narkaloka idhar hai, udhar nahi hai wo. That's why the suffering is greater. That's why anyone says something to you, get, right? So one cycle is complete. Now you review your life and then you pick up again. Okay, this karma from life number 3, that karma from life number 20, that woman in the 13th life. So you pick up and off you go again. And so it keeps on going, and your Karan Sharira enriches itself more and more. Just I'll add one statistic here that Rishi said. The speed of light, Einstein had said E is equal to mc square. The speed of light comes at 300,000 kilometers per second, right? Ye jo aati hai Suraj se. Tell me if I'm going too fast. Now you talked about the vibratory level. You know what is the speed of thought? 15,750,000 kilometers per second. 1 billion mein there is 1,000 million, 15,000,750,000 kilometers per second is the speed of thought. Jabki this speed which is coming from the sun, 300,000, you multiply it by 3, abhi 1 million bhi nahi bana. So I was giving a lecture once, Ramana Maharshi asked me, I gave, I said, okay, 2019 in Ramana Kendra in Delhi, it was a big gathering, so one lady was quite disturbing, so I had to tell her to just shut up and sit down so that I can finish, right? So she asked a question, what is the scientific proof that that is the speed? So I said, you don't need any scientific proofs for this. What actually happens is, if I tell you that Saturn has got 27 moons, you already have this picture in you. How did it happen? Because your thought travels even before you have thought and arrived there, and it makes a mental picture inside you. And you do that all the time. Thoughts travel everywhere. Mental pictures are formed all the time. Based on that, the feelings come, you see. And then based on your feelings, you decide what to do, not on the thought or the mental picture. Thoughts don't disturb you at all. It's your feelings, The Narakaloka, the bad feelings. Right? All right. Have all of you understood this or not so far? I'm going to finish this first part in 5 minutes. Okay, so far? That's what we keep on repeating. This is a cycle of reincarnation. At least, if nothing else, I've opened up something which you have been doing. It's your own story. It's everyone's story. And this is what the self-styled gurus miss. They cover in one page and actually leave it there, but this is basically what he has got to drill into the students. So the first 5 satsangs that I do, I just give them the knowledge that is required. Before you talk about God or self-abidance or Sakshi Bhava or the snake and the disguise and all those things. Apna hi nahi pata, to where are you actually heading towards, Nowhere. You are just wandering aimlessly. Now, what does your atmic body and bodhic body do? Now, this is where the satsang gets deeper. You see, what happens is everybody is sitting here. And no one can deny that there is not a view in front of you. Isn't it? And we are all in the view. Now tell me one very simple thing. Have you ever thought, how does this view appear? We just take it for granted. But it's appearing from you, within you. You're actually in the view, and the view has always been there. Tell me if I'm wrong. Well, you were pushed into the satsang, but what I'm saying, is it wrong? The view appears, isn't it? You work in RBA, you can't work until the view is there. Find your way to RBA and do your work. And no self-styled guru says, look at the view. They say, look at me, what I'm telling you, give me some donation. That's how they work. They're going to be punished. Such a punishment awaits them that even Mother Earth will shudder, because you cannot use spirituality to take away from others what should be rightly told. That is the greatest sin that human beings have committed in the present world. That's why there are only few who actually really attain and are given this knowledge. So what happens actually is, this is, they say, okay, I'm going to shake hands with God for the first time, leaving the thoughts and the feelings. So when you stretch this thing, this is your atmic body. This is divine will. So what happens is that this divine will, mark the words, this divine will actually acts on this intuition. This is the longest body. Intuition means no thought, no feeling, no activity. And this is how intuitively from within you, there is a mechanism, the view appears. And no one actually looks at it. Now you can't deny that the view is not appearing, but what you didn't know is, how does the view appear? And there is no thought, there is no feeling, there is no physical activity. The view is there, you cannot deny it. I told you I'm an engineer, I don't tell you anything which is incorrect. Right? Now this is how we function. So far I can say that, okay, maybe a bit of theory, you're putting your head into understanding what I'm saying, the diagram is there. But now I'm going to give you the proof that whatever I said is beyond 100%, it is actually correct. So let's take an example. This is about water bottle. That's a nice example, okay? Try this exercise. Is there? Water bottle is there or not, right? Yes. So even before this water bottle, this view was there. The bottle was there on the table. So how did the view appear? Divine will acted on divine intuition, and the view is there. And the beauty of the view is, there is a mental view, there is an astral view, there is a physical view, the view is everywhere. And when actually you look at it, this view actually goes right to the limits of space and time. Even at the physical level, it's going right up to the sky and even beyond. And all these planes we actually talked about, they're all in the view. Look at the power. You never looked at it actually, that's where your God is sitting. Right? So your body of spirit and the body of intuition are now active. That's the only function they perform. They perform one more function, I'll tell you. Then actually if I ask, I'll ask Kavita ji, what is this?
Water bottle.
और तो कुछ नहीं है ना ये. So what is this actually saying that this is a water bottle? Because your attention goes to objects. So this is a water bottle is a thought. Isn't it? Is it or is it not? I've been after him for quite some time. Finally I'm meeting him. He's been invited for the satsangs, but he's taking his own time. So I said to the Rishi, I'm going to leave him now if he doesn't send me a message. There are others in waiting. So that's a water bottle, that is a thought. Similarly, this is a chair with a white cloth is another thought. They are all thoughts. Thoughts come into you. The view comes, Atmic and Bodhic bodies. The objects come, thoughts come into you. I'm not telling any rocket science here, isn't it? But the thing is that if I ask you, does the bottle look quite nice with pure water in it as it is, can I? Komal, you tell me. अच्छी लग रही है, isn't it? पानी पिएंगे मजा आएगा. And now you're smiling. तो ये feeling आई ना कि लोग. Astral body आ गई कि नहीं आ गई? Astral plane has come. This is not rocket science. This is what you do all the time. But suddenly if I snake, I'm going to turn this into a cobra and it's poisonous and I'm going to let it go here. You want that? You want me to do it? Jadoo karu? That's the opposite feeling. Your disliking has come. And that's where you lead your life between liking and disliking. I like this and I don't like that. I will do this and I won't do that. And that's the circus you are in, unfortunately. So how are you going to progress spiritually? So now your astral body is active. You can actually see in that diagram and correlate what I am saying. There is no theory in that. This is what it is. This is actually as it is. This is the ultimate truth. As we are talking, sitting, discussing. और फिर ये सारी एक्टिविटी किधर हो रही है? 1 minute. Maybe keep your questions and in the end, because we need to finish as well. I know. You can text me and then, see what I do is that when I actually do these satsangs, one thing I always tell my students, ring me anytime. It's not that we fix a satsang. That's only once a month. I tell them, you ring me, you send me an audio on WhatsApp, and everyone goes through that. And the questions are endless. But I answer every bit until the person is satisfied. Now, Rajesh ji is there, Mamta is here. He doesn't send me any more questions, but he was sending me about 6 to 7 questions a day. I said, oh my God. And I used to answer, I said, better answer it straight away. So either I'll fix up a separate time, or I'll send you a text, or I'll send you an audio. I will answer it. Because it's good. So, welcome. If the Rishi says, then I'll provide the guidance. But if they say, no, the student is, because one of my students said to me, Anil ji, only the most advanced students come to you. I said, well, that's not my fault. If I guide them and suddenly they get punctured and they become enlightened, well, that is it then. So this is all happening here, isn't it? In that physical plane, in the physical body, with respect to that. So that is the activity of your different bodies. That is the cycle of reincarnation, and that is your real battle which lies within you. And they say that which does not change is the reality. The view never changes. It doesn't care what you think, what you feel, what you do. So that means that in you there is actually something which doesn't seem to be affected by anything, which is your higher nature. Your Atmic and Bodhic bodies remain unchanged, and the entire process is to function from there rather than from thinking and feeling, and you are enlightened. That's the journey. It's an inner journey. There's nothing outside. So that's the first half. I can take a break for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can have some water, stretch your legs, and we'll sit down again for half an hour. But then actually, this is, what is it, Mukti? How we are going to attain Mukti? And living in self-abidance is the second part, where you live in that truth. So, the first part is actually done. The second part is not much, maybe half an hour, but it's very deep. This is the part actually which, if you look upon, will give you that freedom that you are seeking. Living in self-abidance, you see. I mean the state in which all those who are illuminated live in. And listen very carefully, because this is it. And with my current students as well, this satsang hasn't been done. So I was surprised why the Rishi asked. But whatever is. So when actually you use the term Bhagavan, Param Atma, Muslims say Allah, there are different names that are actually used, even awareness. So you feel actually that God is something, I will find my way and realize God, isn't it? कितने तो जन्म इसी के अंदर निकल गए. So many lives have actually passed simply searching for this so-called God. Param Parmeshwar, another word. There's so many names. So the student continues his search. The self-study gurus continue with their lectures. And that journey actually never ends. If you actually know where God is, at least the search has come to an end. It's okay, you'll find your way, but at least that search comes to an end, isn't it? Right? That's a very important question in one's spiritual journey. If you have actually found God, then you can work your way towards God. There are endless lectures, but no one actually tells you where God is, how actually to be attained. They give you endless exercises, do meditation, do this, do that. And then say if I use the word, so these are very foreign terminology. That's what I call it. I won't say confusing terminology, because these names have been given by the ones who made the religions and all those, but foreign. Now if I use the word awareness, even then still you will say, okay, let's know what is this awareness, what is it actually, isn't it? Some discussion will be there, that if I say that this awareness is actually God. So that's my own realization which actually twisted and turned everything. But if I actually use the word consciousness, all of you are conscious what I'm speaking, isn't it? Right? And there is something in you which we call attention. See, the attention flows. It's flowing, isn't it? You can't deny it. One, you are actually conscious. Two, you are only conscious because of the attention that flows, the light of consciousness. So what you call as Param Atma that you are actually seeking, this God that actually you are seeking, this awareness that you are actually seeking is nothing but consciousness. And if I say that I'll give you a 2-hour lecture on consciousness, you're not really much interested, because you use consciousness all the time. You're very familiar with consciousness. But what you're actually not familiar is that this is the ultimate reality. That consciousness which is beyond space and time, and that consciousness which is present here, due to which you hear, experiment with it. As I said, that I'm an engineer. It's the same. It is the same. So once actually you know that this is the reality that I'm actually seeking, I don't need to go to any guru, because it flows from within you. The light of consciousness flows in the form of attention. Attention or consciousness is the same thing, but consciousness is the word. The spiritual hierarchy told me, if you want to know the reality, you don't have to go anywhere. Consciousness goes with you everywhere. That is your real nature, but that's not the thing. Because my own illumination was this, I knew everything about this. I had an awakened Kundalini, I've read a lot of books. It will take a person 1,000 years to be on earth and read scriptures to attain the amount of knowledge that sits in my head, but knowledge is knowledge. And then when it came, that what on 21st of September 2016 it came, that what you are searching is consciousness. And then I said, oh my God. Because Ramana Maharshi always said self, I ignored it. But when the reality actually said that this is what that self is, that you are actually seeking, that was it. That's it. My inner state remains unchanged, and people ask me, where do you live, Anil? I said, well, the thing is this, I just live in this consciousness which is my natural state. I don't need to do Sakshi Bhav or take the steps. I've done those. For 2 years I did Sakshi Bhav. I wrote a paper on that. You don't get that paper anywhere. One of my students, he searched everywhere in Google to find it. Because it all comes from direct experience. So, your spiritual journey, at least seeking for this God, comes to an end because this is what that reality is. And you can experiment as much as you want with it. It will never change. Even now. Kyun Tejasvi ji? What's your name? Tejas? Tejas ji. ठीक है ना ये बिल्कुल. And that is your higher nature. देखो, when you connect it with your atmic and bodhic bodies, one, the view appears, but the second thing is just the first thing that you do which you miss, and that is who am I, or Ramana Maharshi is teaching. You have to be conscious of whatever you do. That's the first thing. Kyun? You're a chartered accountant, but without being conscious, you can't talk about all those clients you keep on talking about with me, can you? You have to be conscious even about the clients that you're talking with me. So Ramana Maharshi said, just stop there. You stop there, don't worry about scriptures, gurus, whatever it is. Just look at this, look at that, because of which you are functioning. And it may be that may be the end of your journey as well there. Because before consciousness was present, even before space and time came, it is present through everything that you will do, all your sadhanas, all your meditations, everything that you do. When that will finish, including Anilji's lecture, or even when you return back to the Bhatik or Atmic planes or whatever, consciousness will still be there and you test it. I told you I'm an engineer. I don't believe in anything until I've experimented with it and known. And so just in this single line that this consciousness is the Param Atma. I'm not even saying Atma. This is the Param Atma, or the Bhagwan or the Allah of the Muslims and the Christ of the Christians that you're actually seeking. That's the reality. Who will take you there and who will guide you towards it? That's your own real nature. You can't run away from it. You can run away from your thoughts, your feelings, the so-called husbands and wives and the reincarnations, but you can't run away from what your real nature is. You know, I told you that the speed of, I tend to digress, I can't, sit and give a planned lecture. You see, the speed of thought is there actually, whatever, 15 billion. But what is the speed with which this view appears? Think for 1 minute. It is spaceless and timeless speed. This is your higher nature. There's no space and time there. Because look, the view extends right up to where space and time is. It even goes beyond that. How does it go? Because of consciousness, because you got to be conscious of that as well, isn't it? Such a simple thing. But the thing is that's illumination, because here I'm saying this is it. I don't want you to go anywhere, I don't want you to do anything, but one thing I want you to do, I want you to be sincere to yourself, and I want you to experiment it, with whatever you do. You don't have to go to any holy places or to Ramana ashram. You can sit in your toilet or do your toothpaste and experiment with it. You can't take a bath, you cannot actually work, you cannot actually walk, you cannot do anything without being conscious. Why don't you see that? How blind have you become? By being the clown, the clown of thoughts and feelings, that you forgot that the reality is so near. There's a joke when God made man, he said, how will I find you? God said, I will be closer to you than your own skin, and still you won't see me where I am. क्यों? क्योंकि वो अनिल जी में ढूंढ रहे हैं कि अनिल जी बताएंगे. अरे अनिल जी तो तब बताएंगे when you will be conscious of what Anil ji is telling, and that consciousness is already present in you. What should I tell you? Right? So that is the first step, and that is the last step towards enlightenment. Forget about karma. the view, and your higher nature is never affected by it. And you know it as I tell you. Even as I speak, you know this thing. Your thoughts affect you, your feelings affect you. But consciousness doesn't, being conscious doesn't affect. And that is where unconditional love comes. The sattvic nature comes, patience comes, feelings come. And what actually you don't realize, this consciousness is actually everything. It has been everywhere. There is no greater guru. That is the guru. That will guide you, that will tell you what you need to do. That will bring the clients for you. When you actually transcend, you suddenly see that miracles are happening or things are actually happening of its own accord. Because you're no longer connected with anything. Because you are Param Parmeshwar. That's why it becomes confusing. That I'm only Anilji, I'll find my way towards God. And that you will never. That's what Ramana Maharishi said. You will never, you say, how can that be enlightenment which is there today and gone tomorrow? That's not enlightenment. Enlightenment is that which is always there, which never changes. उसी को बोलते हैं ना भगवान. All these, he's talking about Jainism or whatever. We'll have a discussion on that. We had yesterday as well. But all these religions, this is what they're teaching. Now, unfortunately, I became an engineer, so I only move practically. I can't move theoretically. So I experimented. But the thing is this, that I knew everything about consciousness. But I didn't know that this is the ultimate reality that I'm seeking. I said, oh my God, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. That is when everything just simply becomes a play. You actually don't have to do anything because you're always, that is, वो बोलते हैं ना कि natural state, सहज स्थिति. अरे यही तो है, this is the सहज स्थिति. This is your natural state. You cannot function without your natural state. I've guided people who have been lost in scriptures. And I said, I'll stop guiding you, stop these scriptures. I said, don't come tomorrow. Then she stopped. She's from Chinmay Mission. And now she's illuminated. Fully illuminated. She still does the same work, still guides. I don't interfere with your personal life. You do whatever you are doing. You follow your guru. It's got nothing to do with that thing. But all that I say is you realize your nature and then you do. Have the fun. Anyway, you are here for fun. Right? So is that clear or not? Because this is the real part. This is the real state of abidance. This is what you've got to realize. And consciousness is the only one that can actually give you that blessing. No human being, no sage can actually give that. Because Rishi Master Bhimsa said a very beautiful thing. The truth will always remain the same. The people who impart it may change. It may be Ramana Maharshi or Tejas Ji or Nisargadatta Maharaj. Their images, they come and go. But consciousness doesn't come and go. It doesn't. Why I am so strong about it? Because that's what you call illumination. To me, that's all. Once I've actually found it, nothing matters. Nothing matters at all. That's how I function. I don't care whether people touch my feet or they touch my head or dance with me. Because that inner state never goes. It's just there, it's just there, it's just there, it's just there. It'll always be there. There's nothing more, That's why I said to her, where are you running and how long will you run? Consciousness में भागोगे ना, व्यू के अंदर ही भागोगे. कितना भागना चाहते हो? It's up to you now, You run as much as you want. But when you will attain self-realization, first thing will be you will know that this consciousness is the Paramatma. And that itself will reveal from within you, this is the truth you are seeking. There's no need to do anything. So what you do is that you remove all the camouflage, the dirt, the discussions, the intellectual queries, endless. But I do answer, because I know that the clown will keep on dancing until the dance finishes. Right? So that is what the reality is. Is that clear or not? And keep this in your mind. If you don't take away anything, even if you take this bit, that what you're seeking is consciousness, and experiment with it as much as you want. Don't listen to scriptures, don't go to any lectures. Your journey to finding God has come to an end. And it's a very big thing. It's a very big thing in your spiritual quest. Right? Yes or no? कुछ बोलो ना? You got to speak up. I'm not telling you anything new. This is what you already are. But that is what the Guru does. He points you inward to the truth, to your Atmic and Bodhic bodies. He tells you, go there, look at this, you are conscious. Don't keep on just going on with your, unnecessary desires. That only can be. Look, Sadhu Om said that Ramana Maharshi was a true Guru because he could finish misery. If you look at it from, if you are a witness, if you are actually looking at everything from the perspective of consciousness, what does it matter? That's where I'm coming to. Now look at this. Everything else, everything, okay? Apply this principle. It's so simple. This is what came to me in my, states of illumination. Everything else other than consciousness is an image. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's thought, feeling, this view, even the view, these glasses, these discussions, your astral body, mental body, bodhic planes, atmic planes, your gods, Brahmas, the Vishnus, the Mahesha, that is the highest trinity. But it is an image. Isn't it? It can be subtle or it can be gross. It doesn't matter. Other than consciousness, everything else, the entire Maya is an image. Everything in it is an image. Can I? Bhai bolo. Yes. This is the truth. This is not the Bhagavad Gita that I'm giving you a lecture on. I'm telling you what there is there, out there. You yourself are an image which comes and goes. The awake state, the dream state, the Upanishads, the self-styled gurus, the gurus, Anil ji, whatever, every image, it will be destroyed, Now the thing is this, that all these images, there is one thing very beautiful. They say that it's creation, then preservation, and then dissolution. That's a circus. And we are caught up in it. I want this and I want that. I want a good married life. What good married life? It will come to an end. Why you are running after? Where are you running actually? You can't run anywhere. Can't run away from consciousness. You became an image and you are running after images. That's the problem. Because the image, it can only work with images. It can't actually look at its own reality because consciousness is not an image. That's the source of everything. That is what became these images. And every image, actually my thing on that is not creation, preservation, dissolution. Apply one simple thing. Every image carries the blueprint of its own death, the knot of its own death within it. Applied to every image other than consciousness, this thing is applicable. The thing which is carrying its own knot or tail or blueprint of death within it, it cannot give you happiness. So where are you running then? I mean, this body which you love, the child that you love, this family that you love, the house that you love, each one of them carries the blueprint of its own death, right from this piece of paper to this house, to the great gods. Every image carries the blueprint of its own death within it, and it will die. And if it is actually going to die, that's Maya. It doesn't mean that don't use your thoughts, it doesn't mean that don't use your feelings, but it says is, work in your natural state because that is going to go. And if you don't do this, then you can't be illuminated. Because what happens in illumination is, I'm an image, I work with images, but that attachment, that desire within is broken. That's all. That's what is enlightenment. So two simple things are given you, right? Samajh aaya ke nahi aaya? You just have to apply this in your day-to-day life. And it's being recorded. Listen, sadhana is, if you know the truth, stick to it. Stick to it until it sinks in. Until consciousness comes out from within you and tells you, yes, I am the Param Atma. This is the truth. That day you will not need Anilji or anybody else. You have become an illuminated guru in your own right. That's why this second part is very deep. But as I said, I'm an engineer, I want a methodology, a proof for this. How do I stick to it? So you know now the view appears, isn't it? It's pretty clear, isn't it? And everything is in the view. At a particular time, this view must have come out, isn't it? With the billions of galaxies and all these images. Isn't it? When nothing comes out of nothing is not possible, there has to be something from which mother is there, that's why the baby is born, isn't it? No mother, no baby. Just apply it in your day-to-day life. You have to apply in your day-to-day life and see whatever is above is reflected here. You've got to learn the language of Mother Nature. So the question, the simple question which actually arises here is that who became this view? View to aa gaya, it's there, it's fine. But somebody has become the view, isn't it? It can't just be there. Let's take a pot. When the clay is there, then only the pot will be there. If there is no clay, there can't be a pot. Right? If the other higher beings were not there, if the liver cells and the brain cells and all those were not there, how can there be a Subhaji or an Anilji or a Tejasji to function, to think, to feel? If there is no astral body, there can be no feelings. The story is ended. But there is a astral body. If there is no mental body, there are no thoughts. If there are no thoughts, then you can't go to RBA and work. You need that. So you don't have to go too far to know the truth. So, and this is what who am I is. Look at it very carefully. The answer is there. You know that consciousness is the ultimate reality. Experiment with it. Consciousness goes beyond space and beyond time. Because you're actually consciousness, your view captures that whole thing. You can't deny. You can't deny the view. But who became the view? Just that simple question. And the simple answer is that there can be no one else, there is nobody else there. Consciousness itself became the view. That's the crossover. Right? You're with me there or not? This is very beautiful. I love this part of the satsang. So questions, though, they never end. The mind is stubborn. If you have conquered the mind, and that's what happens in this. The mind is beyond the capability of the mind other than to make mental pictures of this. So if consciousness became the view, so they say that when you look at a sea, the waves are rising and falling. Isn't that what they say? And they say that the wave, there's no difference between the ocean and the wave because it's the same water. There is no difference between a piece of gold and what it appears, what ornament it appears. You've heard all those everywhere, isn't it? Whether that gold is a bangle or it's a earring, it's gold. Doesn't matter how it appears. You look very beautiful, you feel very happy. And then you go away. So if consciousness became the view, everything in this, what is it doing? Rising and falling like a wave. Every event, every image is a rise and a fall. Because every image carries the seeds of its own death within it. That's what I say. So it rose, it will fall. And that's your experience anyway. The satsang is also a rise and a fall, isn't it? Is anyone tired? You want some water? Someone is yawning? Or we are okay to go? Another 15 minutes, I'll finish. So your own experience is nothing but events, images rising and falling. So if consciousness became the view, consciousness also became every single image. That's the hidden reality. That is the ocean and the waves. The view is the ocean, everything rising and falling in it, which are the images, is that same reality. When you realize that this personality is also consciousness only, then the clown goes. Right? Okay? That's what they talk about. That this phenomenal rising and falling of events, I say of images, in this ocean of this view is nothing but the ultimate reality only, though it appears in this way, because that is its nature. So then it comes to now, okay, we know the theoretical part, how are we going to apply it practically? It's very simple actually, the exercise is so simple. So we say that what is consciousness up to now? Consciousness is busy delivering a lecture and people listening. This is the exercise. Isn't that what consciousness is doing? No?
Yes.
But what actually you do is that you actually, to go away from this clown, your real nature, what you say is, what is consciousness experiencing now? So consciousness being whatever it wants to be, that is what it is actually experiencing. And there is no freedom from that. When my wife actually died, this is the only life. She was suddenly diagnosed with ovarian cancer. No one in her life had died at a young age. The mother passed away close to 100, 3 months short of 100 in 2019. She passed away on 5th of August 2022. And so forth. I spent 2 years with her, and I can only talk about reality. I'll keep on talking about this only. There's nothing else to talk about really. So for 2 years, I spent the time with her, and I used to send my audios and satsangs to the students who ever wanted. I used to still have satsangs. Then she passed away. Only 4 weeks she was in pain. But then the thing is that I actually realized that now she has gone, and then I'll meet her again, and then I've been meeting her for the last 1400 lives anyway. How long is the circus going to keep on going? Isn't it? So there is actually no freedom there. They say, oh, this is the destiny, this is this and this is that. But I'll actually tell you that when what consciousness wants to be and what it wants to experience cannot be changed. It is not you that suffers. It's not you that has that happiness. It's consciousness that appears. The consciousness appeared as the wife. The consciousness appeared as the cancer cells. The consciousness appeared as the hospital. They are all images, rising and falling. The consciousness appeared as the doctors. The consciousness appeared as the pain. And the consciousness appeared as the death. And what did consciousness do? It has already set up everything. You say, oh, from the last karma, I came in here. The consciousness has already set up everything to experience that through your causal, astral, mental bodies. Because you look at one thing, most of you are married, right? When you meet the opposite sex, the boy or the girl, why do you suddenly have a liking for that either shadi mein karungi, whether it is arranged or a love marriage? Why? Because consciousness was already that in a previous life. This is what it wanted to experience. That's what it became. And that is how it married and is experiencing what is to be experienced. There is absolutely no freedom in that, except what is consciousness experiencing now? This is what it's experiencing. You can't do anything about it. And that's the natural state then. Then you're living in consciousness, isn't it? Because it's not Bhavin, it's not Anilji, it's not Kavita anymore, it's not Rajuji anymore, it's not Subha anymore, it's not Komal anymore, it's consciousness is Komal, doing what it's doing, experiencing what it's experiencing. And suddenly everything seems to become fun then. We are separated, we are single mothers, we are married. The show goes on, That's what you call deathlessness. That's what you call real freedom. That is this mukti and living in self-abidance. This is self-abidance. This is the practical way of actually reaching there. So 2 more things I will cover very quickly. When Ramana Maharshi was there, then basically we were fighting for our freedom. Muslims killing Hindus. When Rishi Master Bensarduna was there at the same time, they all passed away 1949 and 1950. I was born in 1958. But no one dies. because your causal body is there. People say, how do you talk to them? I say, well, when I go to their causal body, that's how they were communicating, and I see this was their form. This is Ramana Maharishi speaking. They are present here. Even my wife is present today. We are filled with beings of light. You don't see, but I see that. Because this, I raised you to the Atmic level. That's when I closed my eyes. That's where I'm delivering this talk, so that it will not go from you. At least I can plant the seeds. They will fructify whenever they are to fructify. At least that much I can do. That's what I did. So what happens is that there is Ramana Maharishi and there is Hitler at the same time. So how can something so pure and how can something so poisonous appear at the same time? Even now, little children are being killed in Lebanon, mercilessly. And then we are here, fully satisfied, tummy is filled, having satsangs. So there are two things. Either there is something very wrong, what appears to be, or it is that same entity appearing as Hitler and appearing as Ramana Maharishi. And you experiment with it, it is actually correct. Right? And why that is so? Let's dig a little bit deeper. You will never get this answer which I am telling you now. Because you see, when we were in that state, spaceless and timeless, how do you function? An idea comes in your mind. My idea came in my mind, that Rishi communicated, you are going to Bombay, you are going to now Singapore, this is the satsang you will do, this is how you will do it. Idea came, then we executed it, diagrams, this, whatever. Inform the people, send it. Oh, I sent to him, he's not replying. That he said, well, he needs guidance. He's not replying. I said, oh, well, if he's going to come, he will come, otherwise I don't care, And he turns up. Because that's what is bound. But it's consciousness only experiencing that. So when an idea comes into your mind and you actually execute it, so when there was no space and there was no time, nothing is possible. For images to work, two things you need, space and time, right? You are enjoying the lecture. I think you've enjoyed it. So what happened was that when we were in that spaceless, timeless state, this was just this idea within us of a world of space and time, and in that there were three things: Sattvic, Rajasic and Plasmic, pure, impure and a mixture of the two. And then evolution happened, the planes were created, you all evolved, and here you are having the satsang. But the thing is that each image, whatever was there within, has the equal right to express itself, and it will express itself. And that is why there is no difference in, they are all images. Doesn't matter what their nature is. So to express that which could not be expressed in the spaceless, timeless nature is expressed as space, time and images and this world of Maya. But you never left your real nature. Even till today, you may be 14.3 billion years old, but how old is your real nature consciousness? You were there even when there was no space and time. And today also you cannot function without consciousness. Today also you cannot function without being conscious. What are you searching? There is no such thing as I am illuminated and you are not. That is what Gaudpada said. That is what he meant. But not easy to understand, right? But maybe being an engineer, I can make an effort to help you to understand it. So that's our satsang for today. I'll finish it there. Alright, we'll just play the Aarti and then we'll finish. And then if you've got any question, look, the best thing is if you are truly interested, then it's better to message. And if time is available, the Rishi says, yes, I'll guide you. So what I've actually said in the second half, you will become that permanently. I can't do it, but I can give you the knowledge. I've given you enough knowledge today. And that knowledge is the key, which opens the door to illumination. And consciousness does that. Okay. You can play the Aarti, Rajesh ji?
Yes.
Yeah. So we started with that, we end with that.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे, भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे, भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, जो ध्यावे फल पावे, दुख बिन से मन का, स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहूँ किसकी, स्वामी शरण गहूँ किसकी, तुम बिन और न दूजा, तुम बिन और न दूजा, आस करूं जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा, तुम अंतर्यामी, स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता, स्वामी तुम पालन करता, मैं मूर्ख फल कामी, मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम हो एक अगोचर, सबके प्राणपति, स्वामी सबके प्राणपति, किस विध मिलो दया में, किस विध मिलो दया में, तुमको मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, दीन बंधु दुख हरता, ठाकुर तुम मेरे, स्वामी ठाकुर तुम मेरे, अपने हाथ उठाओ, अपने हाथ उठाओ, द्वार पड़ा तेरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा, स्वामी पाप हरो देवा, श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे, भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट
जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।